Alright, welcome back. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to take you through a brief overview and show you the different interface elements that we're going to be using for working with rendering in Mental Ray. And I'm going to go ahead and show you that real quick. Alright, before we can get working here, what we need to do is become acquainted with the elements of exercise interface that we're going to be using, different tools that we're going to be using to go ahead and get the job done. Now over here on the left is where you have the main toolbar. And up here where it says model, if you go ahead and left click that, it opens up a hidden menu. And we have different modes: model, animate, render, simulate, hair if you're working with XSI Advanced. And the one we're interested in is the blue one up here, render. So you can see over here we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and then control 2. Those are the shortcut keys to get to these different modes. So if I switch to render, for example, now you see everything turns blue on these parts of these elements of the interface to let me know I'm in render mode. And the render main toolbar allows me to access tools specific for rendering, so that's going to aid me when I'm working with Mental Ray. And it's very important that I know how to access these tools and that I have them handy because I'm going to be using them a lot. Okay, the next element I want you to have a look at of the interface is up here in the main menu bar. It just so happens that we can access all of the different main toolbar actions and operations up here. So we don't have to switch to model mode, for example. We can actually access all the model mode options up here. So essentially, all of the options right here in this main menu set are the same exact ones that are available here. So why are there two? Well, it's just for convenience, just to give you more accessibility and easier accessibility to all these different options and tools. So up here in the render, what we have is all the different render toolbars, all the different render tools, and so on and so forth. So let me go ahead and switch back to render mode. So that's just another way how you can access the different render tools and things without having to switch out of this mode over here. Okay, the next important part of the interface is the main command panel, also known in XSI lingo as MCP. Now the MCP is this right toolbar on the right side of the interface. Now this toolbar isn't specific to rendering. This toolbar does a lot of different operations. It serves a lot of roles in XSI, and whether you're modeling, rendering, setting up lights, or doing animation or anything like that in XSI, the main command panel is actually going to be one of the most used and versatile elements in the XSI interface. So we're not going to be using it directly for rendering, but we're going to be using it to do things like moving things around, scaling lights, and just general edits and manipulations in our scene. So we are going to be using it quite a bit. Okay, with that said, those are the main parts of the interface that we're going to be using when we're working in this tutorial. So I want you to go ahead and become acquainted with that and know that those are the parts that we're going to be using. And last but not least, we need to set up our project directory, because right now by default I'm at XSI samples, which is the default directory that comes with the factory installation of XSI. So what I want to do is I want to go up to File, and I want to go down to Project Manager. And this opens up the Project Manager window, and if you want to know more about it, you can check out i3D's free tutorials on the introduction to XSI. They're completely free. There's no catch. You can go ahead and check them out, and I go ahead and explain all these things to you, so I'm not going to talk about it right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Add Project. Now, your directory is going to be different than mine. What you want to go ahead and do is go and look for wherever you have the project files that came with the tutorial, which should be this one right here. Should be called i3D underscore tutorials underscore intro Mental Ray. So what you want to do is select that directory and go ahead and hit select over here, and it's going to pop up in your list over here on the left of projects, available projects that the project manager recognizes. So just go ahead and click on a project to highlight it, and over here on the right you should see a list of scenes that came with this tutorial. So right now we're not going to open any of these scenes for the moment, so just go ahead and hit we're going to hit set active project here. That way it becomes the active project. Let's hit close. And now up here in the project you'll see it says i3 tutorials intro Mental Ray scene untitled, because this is a new scene and we haven't saved it, so it's untitled. And that's all we're going to do. And I'm going to end this here, and in the next video is when we're going to go ahead and get started and actually get into Mental Ray and show you how it works.